In a world where mobile games are not that good looking, comes a game that's really good looking. It's Raid Shadow Legends, and it's on your mobile, and you can get it for free. Enjoy an amazing storyline, awesome 3D graphics, giant boss fights, PvP battles, and hundreds of champions to collect and customize. If you download through my link today, you're going to immediately get 50,000 silver, so thank you to Raid for sponsoring today's video. Mad love, ladies and gentlemen. So once again, a massive thank you to the sponsors, Raid Shadow Legends. Certainly do appreciate it, lads, and also a massive shout out to all of the legends out there that have been smashing that like button, you know, keeping me in this YouTube business. I really do appreciate all the support that we've got recently on the channel, man. It's been a really good time. But in today's video, I thought we've been saving up some ancient shards for a little while, man, so I thought we'd go ahead and open 7 of these, and also we have 24 of the standard mystery shards as well, so we're going to bulk open 2 stacks of 10 and go for the ancient ones. And the ancient ones are a little bit more spicy because they have a guaranteed rare champion with a small chance at epic. I believe the chance is 8% there, and also half a percentage chance at a legendary. So we've got 1 in 200 to pull a legendary champion. But you know me, you know what the luck is like. Sometimes we can be a little bit jammy on this channel. So hopefully today's the day, man. We get our first legendary character in Raid. That'd be a really good time. But let's start off with some mystery shards here today and go for the first stack of 10. I really like that you can kind of wrap it open. Some of the lower shards in this game, just to quickly get it over and done with, man. I really do appreciate this feature. It's a pretty cool one, and I don't think we've got anything too spicy. Not a single rare out of 20 there, so a little bit unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is, lads. But anyway, let's start going for the ancient shards now. So let's open shard number 1 and see what's coming out of this one. So out of the portal, this is going to be a Slayer. I don't know if I've seen the Slayer before. His reviews, he's got some pretty decent reviews. This is also a feature I really like about Raid, is that you can rate characters. I believe once you like fully max them out for various like modes of the game, so it allows like other players to get a bit of a sense of how people feel about that character in various modes of gameplay once they've maxed it out. So the Slayer, his ability, he has Vicious Strike, so attacks one enemy, and also has a 30% chance of placing a 25% decrease attack debuff for 2 turns. So yeah, that seems like it could be quite good. I guess it does last 2 turns there, so it could be good for kind of mitigating some boss damage. And his second ability, Frostburn, attacks all enemies there. 4-turn cooldown on a very wide cleave by the look of it, so that's nice to see. And finally, his ultimate ability is Debilitate, so he attacks one enemy and places a 2.5% poison debuff for 2 turns, and also has a 75% chance to place a stun debuff for 1 turn. And I believe if you awaken him, what does it do? It enhances the poison a little bit, and yeah, I can't see anything different with the ascended ability there, but that poison is going to be doubled, man, so that might be very valuable when it does come to bigger health pools. So yeah, a bit of an interesting one there. And I think if you get him like fully upgraded in terms of the additional levels as well, I think you've got the guaranteed chance to stun, because on level 4 you've got like a plus 10% chance, level 5 plus 15%. So he seems okay, but let me know your thoughts on Slayer in the comment section below. And let's go for that, the next ancient shard. So coming out of this one, we have another rare champion. We have the War Maiden, obviously covered in mighty battle armor there, and her main attack is the Ferocious attack, so it's going to attack one enemy and has a 30% chance of placing a 2.5% poison debuff for 1 turn. So that could be a little bit interesting, actually. I'm interested to see her kind of reviews. I think for Arena Offense, man, she's ranked really highly. Force Keep 4.8. I think if that poison does scale with like big health pools, I can see why she'd be very popular for bigger bosses. So that's pretty cool there. And then her second ability, we've got Opportunity Strike, so attacks one enemy and places a 50% increase attack buff on this champion, and places an extra hit if this attack is critical as well, but the extra hit cannot be critical. So yeah, that seems a little bit interesting, man. So, you know, you've got the guaranteed one attack, the increased attack, and also the additional attack if you get a crit as well. So certainly not too bad. I can see that one being a bit useful. And finally we have the ultimate, which is attacks all enemies and has a 75% chance of placing a 30% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. Wow, okay, that seems like it could be really, really good in kind of heavy AoE scenarios. It's got a four turn cooldown, but if you get up to level 5, then this is going to decrease the turn by 1. So if you put some of those tomes in, man, it could be very, very effective, and it's going to kind of ramp up a lot of your other champions as well. Going to reduce the turn cooldown, and also if you ascend it, it ups the debuff chance to 60%, man. So that is, you know, pretty nice, like 6 out of 10 times, or 6 out of 10 targets on average. Not too bad. So I think we've got some pretty good pulls so far. And number 3 is going to be Ironclad. So I don't know too much about Ironclad, actually. Let's have a bit of a look at the reviews. Wow, he has not got some great reviews. I mean, he's doing all right on campaign locations, but the people that have maxed this character out are not really liking him too much. So let's have a look at the basic ability. So attacks one enemy and has a 25% chance of placing a 50% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. So yeah, that's not a guaranteed heal block, but I don't know, maybe he has its uses there. His second ability is to remove one random debuff from all allies and places a 25% increase attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. You know, might have its uses, but it does have a 4-turn cooldown. So I can see why that one isn't, you know, maybe super popular there. And finally, we've got Bloodburst. So when healed, will attack all enemies inflicting damage proportionally to any surplus heal. Damage inflicted is equal to 50% of any surplus heal. So that seems interesting if you've got a very heal-heavy team. You know, there could be some combinations where that's a little bit more spicy. And finally, his aura increases ally health in battles by 16%. So I don't think we're going to be playing around with Ironclad. Just looking at those reviews, man, the pro players, they probably know a lot better than me, so I'm going to trust in their judgment there. Next up, we have Gator, who is a very large-chinned person there, and his reviews are they're alright. They're not as bad as the previous characters' ones. Looks like campaigns locations, Dragon's Lair as well. He has some element of popularity. So his first ability is to attack one enemy and has a 30% chance of placing a 50% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. And then we have his second ability, which is places a 25% increased buff on attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. This seems very similar to the previous champion, aside from that we don't have the ability to dispel there. And then we have a separate button which removes all debuffs from allies. So I guess you got those two separated out, which, you know, might be useful to have in the right scenario. And if you get him ascended to level 3, increases magic ally crit rate in all battles by 22%. So I think that's probably the most popular thing about that character, because that 22% crit rate, man, that could be really, really good if you have a magic team built around him. So yeah, a bit of an interesting one there. And Crystal, or should I say Shard number 5, we've got Guardian here. So Guardian, let's have a look at the reviews. He's got 55. These reviews are coming in quite nice, man, quite nice. 4.7 in campaign. He's over 4 for pretty much everything aside from the Spider's Den, so that's looking quite promising at the start. And we've got his main ability Chop, which is attacks one enemy and has a 50% chance of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 2 turns. All enemy buffs, is that? Oh, okay, that's just that I imagine on one target. but I could see in like the right scenario where an opponent really kind of buffs themselves up, this dude could be really good for stripping those buffs off, man. So I can see him having a good use there. And then we've got his second ability, which is Thunderclap. Attacks 4 times at random. Each has a 30% chance of applying a block buff's debuff for 2 turns. So I can see this being like really useful for the Fire Knight, man, because if you've just got like one single opponent, that's going to count as like 4 attacks, so that could be really, really valuable in the right scenario. And then we got Prayer level 1. It places a block debuffs buff and a counter attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. Also places a 15% continuous heal buff on this champion for 2 turns, and that's a 5-turn cooldown, but you can reduce it to a 4-turn cooldown there. And finally, his aura can increase ally health in dungeons by 27% there. So yeah, that could be really, really good. I think that's a fairly decent bonus. So Guardian, you know, he might have some uses, but hopefully we're going to get an epic or legendary champion, and it's going to be another rare out of this one. We've got the Lamala. Is that how I say it? I do not know if that's pronounced correctly, but he's got Sacred Flame as his level 1. Attacks 1 enemy, has a 10% chance of placing a 30% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. And the damage is based on the health of this character. Crystal Burst attacks all enemies, damage based on health, and his Ascended skill attacks all enemies and places a decrease attack debuff for 2 turns. And then finally we've got his passive ability, decreases the damage taken by this champion by 30% when their health drops below 30%. So this lad is, he's not very popular, man, not very popular. I think I can see why a little bit. Other characters can kind of do what he does and a little bit more, and I don't think the passive ability, by the time like that becomes effective, the fight is pretty much over, especially if he's like a tank character and it's all based on health. He's probably going to be the last one standing, so I can see there. But finally we have, what is it, Halberdia, who has 16 reviews, and the reviews are not looking too good, but he has some very positive reviews for Ice Golem's Peak, and also the Magic Keep as well. So he's got Who attacks 1 enemy, has a 25% chance of placing a 25% weakening debuff for 2 turns. And then we got Bisect, which is attacks 1 enemy, will ignore shield and block damage buffs, and the damage is based on attack. And then finally, we've got his Cleaving Axe, increases critical damage by 40% there. So I can see why he's maybe not the most popular for certain stuff. Yeah, thinking about this Hue now, I think the Hue might have some functionality. He has got some good ratings again for Ice Golem's Peak and also the Magic Keep as well. So maybe that reduces the opponent's attack, and thus it could be good for like surviving some big waves of damage. And that Ice Golem, man, is really, really troublesome. So overall, you know, I think we got some pretty good characters like right off the bat, but there was nothing too special toward the end of that opening. Now today I wanted to push myself a little bit further and see if we could go into the Dragon's Lair and take down stage 9. Like stage 8 was very, very tricky to do, and stage 9 just looks like it's going to be a little bit ridiculous, but I've managed to upgrade my tank unit very recently as well to level 35. So I'm hoping that all the additional mitigation provided by his team-wide shield is going to be enough to sort us out today. But I think we're going to start off with the increased attack, increased crit rate, and let's see how menacing some of these opponents are here today. I think the Acid Rain from my mage is going to be able to sort the opponents out, so hopefully we should be good here. Do you want to go for this? I think we should, man. Just clear it up nicely, and there we go. Get all the turn meter back as well. That ability is so powerful, man. I absolutely love it. And I think here we probably want to focus on one individual. So I think the left side and the right side are probably the best to focus on. Let's actually use the area of effect here. It's going to cancel the sleep debuff, unfortunately. And do you want to use the mitigation here? We are going to get probably a little bit pounded, so I think this might be a good time to fire that one off there. And let's just spray a little bit of area effect damage with the Thorns. Let's go for the Disintegrate there, just apply some poison. So I knew we were going to have to take a little bit of damage there. Hopefully we didn't get too wrecked, man. We got a critical hit. Oh, no. Wow, we got absolutely sniped there, boys. Right, let's go for the continuous heal. I wish we had some sort of way to resurrect. If we did have his ascended ability, it does prevent opponents from being knocked out. But our allies that are affected by the buff from being knocked out. But unfortunately, we do not have access to that, so it's all about unfortunate. But we're firing off impressive shot there. We're going to go for the single target one. And yeah, these are tough, man. They're really, really tough. Let's go for the volley of death. Let's go for brutality here. Let's apply a single bolt in. Hopefully a double shot there. Yes, that will manage to pay off. Super happy about that. But the state that we're getting to the dragon in is not looking overly promising for this one. Who knows, we might have some form of miracle mitigation that allows us to survive a dragon's breath, or maybe the decreased turn meter is going to be somewhat valuable. But let's fire in some damage there, see what we can do. And volley of death here. Might as well. Let's apply the increased defense there. So that managed to actually absorb a lot of the damage. So I don't know, man. Maybe if this lines up, there might be. Oh, okay. We've got a lot of poison on us right now. But this level 60 dragon, you can tell, is not a. He's certainly no pushover, man. Certainly no pushover. But we've got the decrease attack on him. Maybe I should have waited another turn for the decrease attack. But it just means that we aren't going to get super wrecked, as we would have been for the next couple of turns there. So this tank unit is just is MVP, man. He's doing a really solid job. Let's go for the volley of death here. I think if we had like maybe one more character alive, we might stand a little bit of a chance at this. But I feel like we are going to get wrecked as soon as that XL comes. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It'd be great if we had the damage mitigation right now. Oh, that's a little bit nasty, mate. A little bit nasty. Got absolutely ruined there, but you know, it's part of the fun of it sometimes, man. You've always got to dive in at the deep end, see what content you can push, see what you can do, and try and come out on top. So I think we're pretty much done, man. Let's just auto it, let this one play out. I mean, I didn't even need to auto it there. I was just absolutely ruined. But at least we've still got a little bit of silver and also a little bit of experience for my light swarm tank as well. So you know, it was all right overall, ladies and gentlemen. It was all right. Now, one boss that I got absolutely wrecked to. The last time I tried to challenge this one was the Ice Golem, man. I tried to give him my my best bet, but we got absolutely ruined. So today, after we've leveled up our characters a little bit more, I'm going to go in for a bit of a revenge round to see if we can get the level 27 Ice Golem down. And this one is really, really tricky, as I mentioned earlier. But hopefully today's going to be the day we can do it, man. Okay, let's not worry about anything too much here. I think if we use... Okay, let's use the volley here, and then fire off this single target. And what do we want to do here? Okay, I reckon we should have plenty of damage, actually, with the volley, and... Okay, I'm going to save my big ultimate on my mage unit, just for the final boss, I think, is probably the best play. And also the disintegrate as well, just because we need to deal a lot of damage to a few different targets. The continuous heal, let's use this, because I think it should have some value. I think we can get at least one tick off every single character. Okay, so pretty much everybody's topped up. Let's go for the one on the right hand side there. Ping ping, got lucky on the double shot there, which is absolutely fantastic. Let's apply the increase defense there. Impressive shot, boost the turn meter. Acid rain. Oh, dude, that's the absolute perfect cleave there. Now we can use the increased crit and the increased attack buff. Okay, this is a really, really good start. Probably one of the best starts you could hope for in this fight. Okay, the minions have been revived now. If I use that, that's decreased speed and decreased attack on the main boss. So it buys us a little bit more time and makes us take less damage next turn, which is always a nice feature. to use the Volley of Death while we have this attack bonus. Unfortunately, my mage unit was frozen, so that is a little bit unfortunate there. Okay, another Frigid Smash coming in to apply the continuous heal. I think that shot, just for a little bit of safety, man. I think it was probably the best play to go for. Okay, I think he's probably about to use his Smash and Revive very soon. There we go, Frigid Vengeance coming in thick there. So let's go for the one on the right-hand side, see if we can get him down, man. We are very, very close to pulling off a kill, but this is definitely a fight where a lot can go wrong very, very quickly. So you've always got to stay on your toes, and my second archer is unfortunately heal blocked. So might be in a little bit of trouble, man. Might be in a little bit of trouble. It looks like we can get that one down with a bolt there and go for... Let's just go for the Disintegrate, get the poison. Let's get the defense up on everybody there. Go for the Volley of Thorns. And then one more. We just need to get the main guy down, and then I believe everybody else dies. Let's get the increased attack anyway. There we go. I think he died from the damage over time. So we did it, guys. We got the Ice Golem down, so it's absolutely the highlight of my day there. Because that guy's been destroying me for ages, but I think it's going to be a while, and we need to... kind of get the right team and setup before we can make a push for the level 40 version, because that one is just a little bit crazy, man, a little bit crazy. However, I did want to try a little bit of arena as well before we do end today's video. So I want to do a couple of matches. This one does seem fairly even here, and I found just all-out burst tends to work quite well for me at this level, but in certain matchups it's all about kind of alternating your team and setup depending on what you're up against. I think for this one there's nothing like super threatening. The biggest threat is probably the really annoying mage unit that we have. Oh, what are we going to do here? Let's actually focus on that War Shaman as well, because she's the ability to revive. Oh mate, that was some crazy damage, especially with the attack and crit there. So yeah, I really like this team, man. It's absolutely awesome for bursting down opponents in the arena. Got counter attack there. Oh no, one of my teammates got slaughtered. Archer number 2. But hey, you know, it is what it is. Elhain, her sacrifice was not in vain. We did manage to secure the victory there. So what's this one actually? It's looking a little bit tricky. I don't think I've seen that other epic bearded unit, so I'm not really too sure what that opponent does, but I'm sure we're going to find out. I believe they will just start with a shield there. I don't know if that's one of his abilities. I know some of the epic champions can have some very fancy abilities, and this is one of the starter characters as well, kind of that orc dude with the axes. So his Hellraiser ability can be very, very lethal when paired with like an increased attack and increased crit. Like all 3 of the starting characters, all 4 of them, sorry, I believe at least like 3 of them are really, really good. Like the mage you can get as a starting character, the second archer, Elhain that we have on the right hand side also as a starting character. So yeah, it's good that they give you some pretty decent champions right off the bat. Let's fire off Thorns, and there we go. Sorted for the arena win, and I think we'll go for one more round. I'm looking for, you know, a bit more of a challenge, so let's go for the refresh there and see if we can, you know, punch a little bit more upward, or go for a slightly different combo. I think this one's a little bit different, but it doesn't give us that big challenge, whereas this one, I don't know, it might do, man. I don't know about kind of that unit on the right hand side there, the Force one, but I'm sure we're going to find out a little bit about what she does in this matchup. So let's apply the increased attack, the increased crit here. Let's go for the Volley of Death, fire that one off. And I think we should, yeah, let's use the big shot on that unit who we don't know what it does. It's a fairly safe play there. I might get wrecked by the acid rain. Okay, we're still alive, man. We're still alive. We're still in the game here, boys. We'll go for unnatural recovery, get a little bit more regeneration, and let's go for volley here. And there we go, dude. That was a pretty smooth kill in the end. That one actually worked out really, really well. So despite having like a over like a 5,000 difference overall in team power. We still managed to surpass that one. So yeah, that feels pretty good, man. I'm glad we managed to get that team down. And I think we'll go for one more round in the arena before rounding out today's video, man. But it's been a bit of an interesting one today. I definitely, between like this video and the next one, need to look at some of the characters that I've got today in a little bit more detail and figure out if there are any ones that would be very much worth my time upgrading and adding to the roster. So let's chuck off the Acid Rain. Dude, that is an absolutely insane combo for Burst in Arena. I love it. But now we're in a little bit of trouble, man. A little bit of trouble. Hopefully we should be alright. Okay, we got that attack and we got the crit there. Let's go for Disintegrate. We just need to get 2 down. Perfect. And then one more ball. Sorted, boys. I think that's another solid punch up as well there. Dude, that was a really, really big punch up. That was, what is it, 35k team power there. So yeah, certainly not too bad. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy today's Raid Shadow Legends video, please do smash that like button. And once again, a massive thank you to the sponsors of today's video, Raid Shadow Legends. And if you want to check out the game, get 50,000 free silver, multiple rare and epic champions as part of the new player program. Be sure to use the link in the description of the video to download Raid. But aside from that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.